So in this mind wrap, we're going to be talking about calculating real limits. This is actually not a bad thing to have to do. It's actually, once you get the idea of it, it's really actually pretty easy. So let's start off with just talking about what a real limit is. These are boundaries on intervals for scores that represent on a continuous number line. So basically we're looking at those, remember those continuous variables we talked about previously where they don't have ability to count them. So when we use continuous variables, we need to be able to separate and decide how we group those continuous variables, and we use real limits to do that. So the real limit of two adjoining scores is exactly halfway between the two scores. So for instance, if one score was 50 and the other score was 51, halfway between 50 and 51 would be 50.5. Okay, so we have the upper real, which would be the top of the interval, and then we have the lower real, which would be the bottom of the interval. So you can see by this image what we're doing here. So we have 149 and 150. The real limit from 149 to 150 would be 149.5. That would be actually the upper limit for the 149. The lower limit would be 148.5. And what that basically means is that anything that falls between 148.5 and 149.5 would go into the bucket of 149. Okay, so we're being able to narrow down exactly what goes in each individual continuous bucket. So now let's do an actual example. So when measuring a weight on a scale that is accurate to measure to the nearest 0.1 kilogram, what are the real limits for the weights of 56 kilograms? So what we want to do, this is our steps on how to do this. We want to divide our desired accuracy by 2. So remember, we want it to be accurate to the nearest 0.1 kilogram. So we're going to do 0.1 divided by 2, which would give us 0.05. So that's half of our desired accuracy. So step 2, we're going to find the lower real. We're going to do this by subtracting the value and half the desired accuracy. So we're going to take the value 56 kilograms, we're going to minus that 0.05 from that we found from step 1, and we're going to get that the lower real is 55.95. So step 3, we want to find the upper real. So we're going to do this by adding that half desired accuracy to our value. So we're going to take our 56, we're going to add 0.05 to it, and we're going to get our upper real at 56.05. So that means that anything that falls between 55.95 and 56.05 would go into the bucket with 56. So let me give you a chance to do one here. We're going to measure the weight of on a scale that is accurate to the nearest 0.5 kilograms. What are the real limits for the weight of 95 kilograms? So go ahead and pause the video and see if you can figure out if it's going to be A, B, or C. And when you're ready, go ahead and press play and we'll get the answer. So you should have gotten B, 94.75 to 95.25. The way we would have got that is our desired accuracy was 0.5, so we would divide that by 2, which would give us 0.25. So for the lower real, we're going to subtract 0.25 from the 95, which is where we got the 94.75. To get the upper real, we're going to add the 0.25 to the 95, which is where we got the 95.25. If you'd like any more examples or have any questions on how to calculate a real limit, please just let me know.